Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
Welcome to the month of December. Welcome to Newswatch, and also welcome to our all English unit for the month of December. And again, it's all about something happening in the news, and these things are happening with people with disabilities, okay? If you can't hear, you're deaf, and if you can't see, you're blind, although there is a condition for people with vision problems called color blindness. You can see, but you can't see all the colors. And that's what our two news stories are about today.
That's right. And since it's our all English, we're going to try to talk a little more slowly and explain as much as we can because there is no Chinese teacher today. We've got two fun stories, I think, something that's new out there. I had not heard of either of these stories. We've got the deaf K-pop trio we're going to talk about, and then these colorblind-friendly games. But first, we're going to listen to both of these stories read out loud.
Deaf K-pop trio breaks barriers with sign language performances. A new K-pop group is challenging stereotypes in the music industry. Big Ocean consists of 3 members with hearing loss. Park Hyun-jin, Lee Chan-yeon, and Kim Ji-suk use hearing aids to communicate, and their goal is to pioneer S-pop, sign language pop. They incorporate Korean, American, and international sign language into their performances, breaking down barriers for hearing-impaired fans. Performing as a K-pop group isn't easy for Big Ocean. They rely on visuals and AI technology to help them keep on the beat and mix their voices properly. They also wear special watches that vibrate on each beat during live performances. Despite the challenges, the group is determined to pursue their dreams and inspire others to do the same. Looking to the future, the members of Big Ocean aim to challenge themselves by appearing on music shows, variety shows, and even in dramas and movies. Ultimately, they want to change people's perceptions of individuals with disabilities and create a more inclusive world.
Mattel aims for 90% colorblind-friendly games by 2025. Toy giant Mattel has announced a groundbreaking initiative to make its games more inclusive for colorblind players. By the end of this year, 80% of Mattel's global game portfolio will be colorblind-friendly, with plans to increase this to 90% by 2025. This change will affect popular games like Uno, Phase 10, and Blockus. Recognizing that around 300 million people worldwide have some form of color vision deficiency, Mattel is working to remove obstacles in gameplay. The company has collaborated with experts and colorblind individuals to develop solutions. These include adding symbols and tactile cues to game components, ensuring that color is not the only way to distinguish cards or pieces. For instance, Uno cards now feature simple shapes like stars and triangles to represent different colors. Ray Adler, Mattel's global head of games, stated, "We're proud to help spread awareness for the colorblind community and make our products accessible for more people so that all fans can come together and enjoy universal gameplay."
Okay, everybody, it's time for us to discuss the contents of today's lesson. The first news story is entitled, Deaf K-pop Trio Breaks Barriers with Sign Language Performances. So we're going to Korea, and if you talk about Korean popular music or Korean pop music, we call it K-pop. If you talk about Japanese popular music, it's J-pop. If it's from Hong Kong, it's Canto pop because it's sung in Cantonese. Mando pop is Mandarin songs in popular Mandarin songs. But in this particular case, we're talking about a group in Korea. They're a K-pop group, and they are deaf, okay? If you're deaf, that means you can't hear, and you probably are going to communicate with sign language.
That's right. Or maybe you're not totally deaf or completely deaf. I have a cousin who can speak just fine. He wears a hearing aid, but you can tell he has a speech impediment, meaning his speech isn't quite clear. He's one of my favorite cousins, by the way. But yeah, he's got 2 hearing aids that he wears.
So he's hearing impaired, right?
Yeah, so if you are deaf, sometimes they will talk about how deaf someone is. Hearing impaired, it just means you've got some issue with your hearing that makes it a challenge for you, but you can still hear some things, I know. So this is a deaf K-pop trio. Trio is a word we use, especially in music, to talk about a group of 3 people performing together. It could be singers. It could be 3 instruments together. So that's what these guys are. There are 3 of them. If you see the word trio, we know immediately there are 3 in the group. Could be a duo, which is 2, a quintuplet, a quartet. Quartet's 4, quintuplet's 5. It goes like that. So they're breaking barriers, meaning they're doing something for the first time that's never been done before. When I first saw this, Tom, I was a little amazed. I thought, oh my goodness, music is one of those fields that's almost impossible to really get in there and to excel as a performer, a professional at least, with this kind of hearing impairment. So it's kind of fun to see what they're doing. They're also opening up a new world to those fans who also are hearing impaired, and they're using sign language. We're going to talk about that too.
We will talk about that in just a couple of seconds, but the first sentence here in the first part of our lesson says, a new K-pop group is challenging stereotypes in the music industry. So again, we've got a K-pop group like BTS. They're a K-pop group. They're probably the most popular one. And this particular group is challenging stereotypes. A stereotype is sort of like some sort of impression that people have of someone or something, and they have this fixed idea about what it is. For example, maybe many Americans have stereotypes about Chinese people, that they only eat with chopsticks, they only eat rice or something like that. Those might be stereotypes, whereas a stereotype of an American would be, oh, they're loud, they're obnoxious, they eat hamburgers, they drive big trucks. Those are stereotypes of different parts of the world. And yes, we might have stereotypes about deaf people because, hey, you can't hear, so you have no business being in music. How can you be a musician if you can't hear?
Well, it's not just the pitch they can't hear. It's also, think about the rhythm, the beat of the music. So it's an interesting challenge, I think. I really admire them for going into this area. So Big Ocean is the name of the group. Kind of fun, huh? So they've got 3 members. I'm not going to try to say their names correctly. I'm going to refer to them by their last names. Park is a last name, Lee is a last name, and Kim is a last name. They use hearing aids. A hearing aid is something that is assisting you to hear better. Nowadays, I think technology is improving in terms of hearing aids. They're getting better. I know that when my grandpa needed a hearing aid to hear as he got older, he hated it because it would amplify or make sounds louder where he didn't want them. So he would often just turn it off or take it off. He didn't wear it very much, but I understand they're getting better these days. They use hearing aids to communicate. It could be, a communication can be lots of things, guys. It can be speaking. It can be using a gesture, which is to use your body, your hands as a sign to communicate something, like the OK symbol. Say you can't speak out loud. Maybe you're in class and you give your friend the thumbs up, meaning it's okay or something's good. And their goal is to pioneer S-pop. S-pop is the new way we refer to sign language pop. If you pioneer something, you go into a field for the first time or you go somewhere no one's ever been before. We used to refer to pioneers long ago as people who maybe entered a new region of the world that no other person had been there before, at least someone from their particular nation or area of the world. Now we talk about pioneers a lot when we talk about technology.
Right, so they are pioneering sign language pop, and they're calling it S-pop. Again, music that is done with sign language. This reminds me, when I was in university, I did take a sign language course.
Yeah.
It was actually called Manual Communication. And we actually had a unit in which we had to sign a song, okay, so that deaf people could actually enjoy the song as well. I don't remember the song that I did. That was a long time ago, but you get the idea. I suppose they're out there on stage performing, and they might also have somebody signing for them, or they might be signing themselves. And they incorporate Korean, American, and international sign language into their performances. Now, a lot of people think that sign language is universal. Oh, if you know sign language, you can talk to anybody in the world. No, it's not the case. Every place, every country has their own version of sign language. An American deaf person will not be able to communicate with a person from Taiwan who is deaf. They will speak different languages, but they probably can, I guess, maybe learn some things about each other, I suppose. Some signs are probably universal. But yes, we have Korean, the Korean style of sign language, the American style, which is called ASL, American Sign Language. And then we've got international sign language, which is a sign language, I guess, that's supposed to be between countries, and that will break down these barriers for hearing impaired fans. If you're hearing impaired, that means you have problems with your hearing. It does mean deaf people, but it could also refer to people who can't hear as well as other people, and they might need hearing aids. So generally, the term is hearing impaired people.
So moving on to the next paragraph, it says performing as a K-pop group isn't easy for Big Ocean. I think that all of us can understand the reasons for that. That's pretty obvious. They rely or depend on visuals and AI technology, and that helps keep them on the beat. If you're staying with the rhythm of a song, we'll say, oh, he's on the beat or he's off the beat. Oh, no, he's not on the beat at all. If you're a good dancer, you usually have a good sense of rhythm. You can hear the beat and you stay on the beat as you perform a dance. So if you're talking about visuals, it's things that you can see with your eyes. And then AI technology, I don't think they go into a lot of detail here. I'm not sure how they use AI technology. There's AI technology all around us. I just finished writing an article for a magazine about that, just how AI in our everyday life is so prominent that sometimes we don't even realize it's there, but it's helping improve our lives, hopefully. So these things help keep them on the beat and mix their voices properly. If you're in a trio, you can't have one singer really loud and another singer really soft, especially if it's harmony, where you're singing other notes that blend together and sound beautiful. You need to really have it balanced, where everybody is not out singing each other. Of course, sometimes there's a soloist or a solo part where one person sings, but it's really important for this group to balance their voices.
Right, they want to mix their voices. Maybe they have lights in different colors or with different intensities to indicate how they're sounding, and they can look at those colored lights and figure out what they're doing right or what they're doing wrong. And they want to keep on the beat. They don't want to lose the beat. And they also wear special watches that vibrate on each beat during live performances. They probably have speakers facing the floor so they can feel the vibrations through the floor, but to make it extra accurate, they wear these special watches that will vibrate on each beat. Okay, just like an alarm, a lot of us have alarms that will vibrate when it goes off so we can feel it if we can't hear it, or if we don't want the sound to go off, we just want it to vibrate. It's a similar concept. These watches will vibrate zzz, zzz, zzz on each beat, and they'll be able to keep time.
I know of a ballet dancer who's deaf, and she uses that method to stay on the beat. Although she's dancing to classical music, the rhythm, the beat is still very important, especially in dance and singing. So despite these challenges that they're facing, the group is determined to pursue their dreams. If you pursue your dreams, you go after something that you've really wanted to accomplish or achieve. Some people are looking to go into the entertainment industry. Some people are more interested in technology or business. There's so many different dreams that people have. We're all very different. And they're also at the same time trying to inspire others to do the same. they're kind of saying to the audience, don't let any challenges that you may have physically, mentally, emotionally stop you from going after your dreams, and that's an important message.
And looking to the future, the members of Big Ocean aim to challenge themselves by appearing on music shows, variety shows, and even in dramas and movies. So this is what they're aiming to achieve. That's their goal here. They want to challenge themselves to do something even more challenging or more difficult. They want to appear on music shows, which is a new challenge. They want to be on variety shows, which is a kind of show in which they do all sorts of things. Those kinds of shows are popular here in Taiwan as well. And, of course, we all know about the Korean dramas, and they want to be in those dramas, and they also want to be in Korean movies.
Ultimately, finally, this is their top goal. They want to change people's perceptions of individuals with disabilities. A perception of something or somebody is how you see them based on your background, how you grew up, maybe the way you see the world. Everyone has kind of a different perception based on their background, maybe their family, their history. So they want to change people's perceptions of individuals with disabilities and create a more inclusive world. Inclusive just means you include as many people as you can. You don't exclude people. Remember, if you're in school, it's better to include more people in your group rather than say, no, you can't be in our group. You're not cool or you're not in our club. Let people in. It makes for a happier world.
Okay, that brings us to the midway point in our lesson for today. Let's take a break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, folks, welcome back. We're going to start in on our second news article. Mattel aims for 90% colorblind-friendly games by 2025. If you don't know Mattel, that's a famous game company from America, and they've been making some of the fun games we've been playing for a century, I think. I think they're really quite an old company. I used to use or play a lot of Mattel games when I was growing up. What does colorblind mean? Let's talk about that first. Colorblind is when people can see, but they can't always distinguish colors. Like someone might not be able to tell green from red or blue from purple. They honestly can't see it. They can see clearly. I mean, their vision is clear, but they can't distinguish colors very well. I was looking up statistics about this. More men are colorblind than women, but around the world, there's 4.5% of the world's population that is colorblind. That's a lot of people. So that's about 350 million colorblind individuals just around the world. So it's a lot of people who haven't been able to play certain games because part of the game and the components, the parts or pieces, are color-coded. So we're going to talk about that. But Mattel, their goal, if you say aim, it just means you're shooting for something. That's your goal. They want to come up with colorblind-friendly games. By 2025, 90% is almost all their games will be games that even people who are colorblind can play and enjoy.
Right. And again, I did want to say that Mattel also makes toys. I remember when I was a kid, I played with Hot Wheels cars a lot.
Yeah.
And they were made by Mattel. I think the Barbie doll is also, that's also made by Mattel. So they make toys and games, and they want to make their games colorblind friendly by the year 2025, which is just next month. So hopefully this will happen within a year. And toy giant Mattel has announced a groundbreaking initiative to make its games more inclusive for colorblind players. So they've made this announcement. They have this initiative. They want to make their games more available to people who are colorblind. Okay, so if something's groundbreaking, it hasn't happened before. It's new, it's innovative, and it's an initiative, which means they're taking the initiative. They're actually doing this themselves. They're not waiting for other people. They're not waiting for the government. They're just going to do this themselves. Hey, we're going to make these games available to colorblind people. We're not going to wait for other people to do the same thing.
Initiative can be an adjective where you don't need people telling you what to do. You go ahead and take charge. You're proactive. It can also be a noun, which this is. It's an action or a statement that's intended to solve some sort of problem. You'll often hear it in politics, or maybe a company has a new initiative like we're talking about here. They've got a groundbreaking initiative. It's going to change a lot of things. And we talked about what that initiative is. But if someone pays you a compliment and says, hey, you're showing a lot of initiative, especially at work, it means the boss is happy with you because you don't sit there in your chair until you're told exactly what to do. If you see something that needs to be done, or you see a colleague that needs some help, you just jump up and go help. You don't need someone telling you.
That's right. Okay, so that's what they want to do. They want to make the games more inclusive for colorblind players. And by the end of this year, 80% of Mattel's global game portfolio will be colorblind friendly, with plans to increase this to 90% by 2025. So here we're talking about by the end of this year, which is 2024. It will be over in about 2 weeks. 80% of their game portfolio will be accessible for the colorblind. Now, a portfolio is just all the things you have together in one place. All the games that they have basically is their portfolio. You might also have a portfolio if you're a graphic artist, for example, or a photographer. You have all your examples, all your work collected together. So when you talk to clients and want to sell your work, you can show them things from your portfolio.
Or if you're an investor, they'll often talk about your financial portfolio. It just means the combination of investments that you have that you're investing in. It could be stocks and bonds, other things. Maybe you're investing in gold and silver, Bitcoin, or some cryptocurrency. All of those things combined would be your financial portfolio, what you are investing in. So we use that quite a bit just to talk about a group of things. It could be, as Tom said, someone who's artistic. I had a designer who worked for me in New York City, and her portfolio was really cool. She designed jewelry, and she would often bring her portfolio to clients to show them pieces that she had done before. They were just pictures, of course, usually, but that's a portfolio. Here, it's all their games, their products, their designs, their toys that they have. So they're going to try to make their game portfolio. We're just focusing on the games and not the toys this time. Colorblind friendly. Friendly meaning they're accessible, or they make those that are colorblind feel included. So that's a great thing. They want to increase their portfolio to be colorblind friendly to 90%, as we said, by 2025. And this change will include popular games. I know one of these games. That's how things have changed so fast since I've been over here in Taiwan. I played Uno growing up with my family. It's a card game that's very fun. Phase 10 I don't know about, and Blockus is a new game. But if you get on YouTube, you can look these games up and see how they're played and get some tips on how to play and win.
Now, here in the next paragraph, it says, recognizing that around 300 million people worldwide have some form of color vision deficiency, Mattel is working to remove obstacles in gameplay. So they admit they recognize that lots of people all over the world have some form of colorblind problem or color vision deficiency. A deficiency means you're lacking in something. You could have a vitamin deficiency and you're not feeling well, so you need to start taking some vitamin supplements or something like that. It just means you lack something. So because they recognize this, they want to remove those obstacles. They want to get those things out of the way so that people can play games no matter how well they can see.
An obstacle, another synonym for that word is barrier. We talked about that earlier, a barrier, obstacle, something that's getting in the way of you proceeding or making some progress. So Mattel has collaborated or worked with experts and colorblind individuals, and they've helped Mattel develop solutions, all these people together. If you collaborate, you come together with other people, and you all share your knowledge and your expertise, and you help kind of create something new. It could be a new product. It could be that you're working on a new initiative to solve a problem. Here they've got a lot of experts, people who know about this. And of course, the best people to ask are the colorblind people themselves. Hey, can you see this? If I change the shade this way, or if I add this shape, is this going to make the game fun for you? I don't think all colorblind individuals see colors the same way either.
No.
I know someone, not in my family, but a friend who his wife would put his socks together because he could never tell the different shades of black or blue even. So she would always match them up for him. But everybody is different with this. Our eyes are all very unique. So these experts have come up with ideas like adding symbols. Remember, Uno when Uno first came out, you played Uno based on colors. It's like playing cards, face cards, if you're playing poker or something. They added, instead of just having colors and numbers, they would add shapes now. When you see this word tactile, it just means you experience something through touch. You can also pronounce it tactile or tactile. They're both correct. These are cues, little hints to game components. I think you said components earlier on, Tom. Components are just pieces of a whole. Could be computer components. Maybe you have a desktop computer, so you've got your CPU, you've got your monitor, you've got different things that you use. The pieces inside a computer, if you open it up, those are the components of a computer. Here we're just talking about the different pieces or parts of a game that allows the game to be played.
Right. They might have something you can feel like Braille, for example. That's how blind people can read. So maybe they have a part of the card that sticks up so they know it's a certain color card or something. And so they can distinguish the cards. They can tell them apart. For instance, or for example, Uno cards now feature simple shapes like stars and triangles to represent different colors. Okay, so I guess they did not do this in the past. Now they have these simple shapes, and we've got some examples here. They might have stars or triangles or hearts or whatever, and these can represent different colors. I can imagine they probably don't have much of a problem playing regular poker with playing cards because obviously you can tell the difference between the different suits. You got hearts, spades, clubs, diamonds. Anybody can see that, whether they can see the colors or not.
Yeah, Uno was invented for families who didn't believe in playing gambling games or playing with face cards because people played and gambled with them. So now they're kind of copying what face cards do. They're adding that little component, that little symbol. If you distinguish something, guys, you tell the difference between one thing and another. I know a set of twins. They're both girls, and it's hard to distinguish one from the other unless they talk. If they talk, you can see the personality, and I know exactly which one is which. But to distinguish, to tell something from something else, to tell them apart, you could use that instead. So, for instance, it says Uno does use those sample shapes. And like stars and triangles, that's how they're helping the colorblind. Now, Ray Adler is Mattel's global head of games. That's his big position. He's a big wig, we would say. He's got an important position in the company. He says, we're proud to help spread awareness or let people know that, hey, there's this problem for the colorblind community. Let's help them out. A lot of us who aren't colorblind would never even think about this. And he wants to have Mattel make their products accessible for more people because he wants all fans to come together and enjoy universal gameplay. What does universal mean, Tom?
Well, it could have to do with the entire universe, with all the galaxies and the quasars and all that fun stuff. But here it just means all over the world, so people can play this game in Mongolia, in South Africa, in Peru, in Canada. No matter where you are, people should be able to come together and enjoy this gameplay no matter where they are. Okay, we're at the end of our discussion for today, and there's no Chinese teacher for today. Hopefully, we have helped you improve your listening comprehension ability. And if you want to further improve your listening comprehension ability, check out our content on Facebook and YouTube. And that brings us to the end of our program for today. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
And I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.